Sorry I haven't been able to be at more of the conference. I don't know what's been told, but I've not been feeling super great lately, so hope to just have you all bear with me today as I'm stumbling through this, because I don't have a ton of energy to talk, but today I want to talk about the economics of spam. I feel like we've all seen those spam emails or spam texts or whatever just like showing up in our account. And I've always been curious, like, why that's still a thing. Like, I know it was like huge, in the early 2000s, but like, does that actually work? Like, do people buy stuff from these like spam emails? So, kind of just wanted to look into that. But first, quick about me. I'm the vice president of the Cybersecurity Association here. I'm a CS student in the class of 2024, so I'll be graduating this April. Right now, I'm a CCG analyst for the Cougar Consulting Group. I am a research assistant at the BYU CSRL. I competed with the 2023 CPTC team that presented earlier. I am a CS393 TA, and I'm a volleyball coach. Those are all things that I'm doing right now, which kind of sucks. But guess what? So it's a good time. So real quick, today, it was kind of hard to segment this research because there's a lot of just gray lines between what's phishing and what's spam and all this different stuff. So I'm not talking about credential theft. I'm not talking about business email compromise. I'm not talking about stuff that's trying to get you to download malware. I'm not talking about things that aren't spam, like kittens, rainbows, etc. Basically, I'm not going to talk about anything that is a scammer trying to gain anything but money. So what I am talking about, I'm just trying to talk about the classic spam emails like, hey, buy these pills that show up in your inbox that you don't really want to know about. So just direct attempts at making money, not really trying to steal like account passwords or anything like that, and then, whatever the heck this is. So I'll give you guys a second to read this. If you haven't seen this before, this is from James Veitch's TED Talk. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was a pretty iconic thing for me to watch, at least.
That hurts my head. Hold on.
Giant gummy bear.
What?
So, if this makes no sense to anyone,
Lizard.
The link's down there at the bottom. I can send it out afterwards as well. Super funny presentation about just like a guy that was wondering what happens when you respond to spam email. So he had a good story about that. If anyone wants to watch that, I'll be happy to send them the link. So, kind of want to take like a more, I guess, business rather than cybersecurity approach to analyzing just like the spam industry to kind of know like, okay, well, why is this a thing? Why is it still a problem that we're encountering? So I wanted to start by looking at like the financials and the rough like numbers for just how the spam industry works. So is spam still a thing? I think the answer to that, yes, it somehow is. But I didn't realize there are over 150 billion spam emails sent a day. That is an insane number to me, and I still don't entirely believe it. But
That's for you,
so
Steve.
I just want to put that number into perspective. So this circle represents the number of heartbeats that you have a day, which is approximately 100,000. You can compare that to the number of babies born a day, that's 385,000. If you compare that to the number of Taylor Swift listens that happens per day, then those other enormous numbers look entirely inconsequential. Apparently, tweets are obviously more prolific than Taylor Swift listens. So there's a lot of those sent today, about 500 million. That looks nothing compared to the number of Snapchats that are sent today.
What?
Which is obviously not even comparable to the number of Google searches sent today, which doesn't even make up half of these spam emails that are sent today. So, yeah. Never thought that there was going to be like a data point that was bigger than like the number of Google searches per day, but no. There are more spam emails sent today than there are Google searches, which I found super interesting. So more and more spam emails are being sent every year, which is interesting because the amount of legitimate emails is still increasing, but the percentage of spam is actually going down, which is kind of cool. So we have the orange line here. That's just the percentage of all emails that are spam. It has been around like 50 to 60%, but it's been slowly decreasing over time. And the blue bars here are just showing like the percentage of spam, or the numbers of spam emails sent a day averaged out throughout the year. So 2023, we averaged about 196 billion spam emails sent a day and 151 legitimate emails sent a day. So that was super interesting. So spam is still growing. There are more and more spam emails being sent a day. even though, it's not, even though like legitimate email share is increasing. And one reason for that is just like more mediums are becoming more successful for spreading spam. Text and phone calls they are starting to have higher conversion rates, so that's the reason that people are moving away from traditional email spam. So, kind of just to define spam here, a couple different things we can look at. Because obviously, we all know about the phishing emails that you get that are trying to steal your passwords, ones that are trying to get you to give away your social security number, all the stuff like that. This stat I'm having a hard time understanding, and I've found it everywhere, and I still can't find the original source of where it came from. And none of the explanations I've found of it online are really that great. So take this with a grain of salt, but this was something that I found interesting. Most spam emails are just considered marketing or advertising that was unwanted. After that, it's stuff advertising you to pay for adult content. After that, there are a lot of financial scams, and apparently only 5.8% is considered actual scams and fraud. Still don't entirely know how they came up with these numbers, because I'm guessing in most of these scenarios, they're still trying to gain information from you or get you to buy an illegitimate product. But that 6% right there, identity theft was the goal 73% of the time. That's actually where most of the money is made in this industry, but I'm not going to be talking about identity theft today. So I was kind of curious, we all have seen these emails, and we've all probably seen dozens of these emails every week in our inbox. So I wondered, okay, well, how does anyone actually respond to these? You can pretty easily tell that they're spam most of the time. So I looked it up. Apparently, the answer is for every 12.5 million spam emails sent, approximately one is replied to. To put that into perspective.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
We're going to be here a while.
Yes.
All right, so on one of those slides, there was a red dot.
Wow.
That represents the one person that responded to a spam email. There are 450,000 dots on each of those slides besides slide 28. Doesn't seem like a profitable business to me. If you're sending 12.5 million emails to get one response, there is no way you're possibly making money on that. Wrong. This stat I also kind of question. It was from earlier years, back when internet scams, people were able to get away with a little bit more because less people were technologically literate. But apparently, 19% of people surveyed had purchased something from at least one spam email in their life. Again, that still feels like a high number to me. But apparently spam is making people money. So I was kind of curious, okay, well, how much money can they actually be making? And it kind of depends on the structure of the spam organization. There are a couple of different ways that these organizations can be set up. Some of them, the most common is they actually have a spam gang that will control a botnet and is just specialized at sending out spam emails. A lot of the time, a company, usually also trying to sell illegal things, will come to them and say hey, I have this great new fake pill that I want to sell to people. Go tell everyone about it. And they'll say okay, you know what, we'll pay you for every million emails that you send. And the recent estimate was about $80 for sending 1 million emails. That's just what the spammers are being paid. And then there are some other bigger criminal enterprises that just having a spam wing of their organization that handles spreading the products to the rest of the company. But most often it is just the contract work that spammers are doing, which is actually interesting. So, kind of diving into some numbers here. This was from an interesting spam report that I read from the University of San Diego. So, you can approximately estimate gross revenue sent from spammers by looking at the emails sent per zombie, looking at the number of zombies, the percentage of messages delivered, the messages that make it through the spam filter, the rates that people actually click on the links in there, and then the people that purchase the conversion and multiply the average purchase price. So we have some rough numbers up there from this study that was done in 2014. But running through that, $7,500. That's again for in the case that you're sending about 1.7 million emails, which again is a very small number compared to how many are actually sent. This was just for one organization in one day that this was looking at, and it was a pretty small one too. So I don't imagine like costs of that would be very high. I imagine that spam is a very profitable business. So we kind of wanted to look at that more, and I'm like, okay, well, like, yeah, how much does it cost to like do these, to send out all those emails? And apparently it does cost a lot of money to send 1 million emails. I guess that makes sense. But people will obviously try to reduce the costs by using botnets. A lot of the time these spammers are just purchasing or leasing botnets from botnet masters that will go spread their virus and then just kind of sell it out to spam people to let them use it to send emails. That'll make it just go through it faster. But leases are about $12,000 a month for a network of 100 bots, each of which can send about, which in total can send about 1,000 emails per minute. So kind of diving back into the financials further, the one thing that business school has taught me is that profit is revenue minus cost. I think we all knew that, but in the 5 business classes I've taken, that has still been something that people take notes on. I don't know why. But one botnet will be approximately $2,000 a month, the botnet of that size can get you about 43.2 million emails sent per month, which will bring in a revenue of about 190,000 based on the equation that we looked at earlier. The cost of sending those emails is about $432 a month. The monthly profit for an average campaign like this is $180,000 a month. This is only one spam campaign, only sending 43 million emails. So there are, I don't want to do the math in my head right now, but a whole lot more than that many spam emails being sent a day. Spam is a huge industry. This is enormous. So I kind of want to look at it like, okay, well, like, how big is this? Like, what are yeah. So I was like, okay, well, like, let's say you're gonna pretend to want to be into spam. It's like, okay, well, like, pretend. Yeah. Like, who are the people that are doing this? Like, how's it working for them? So I kind of wanted to look at it. I really like maps like this. These are super interesting to me. We're going to look at a few today. So first off, where are these emails coming from? I had no idea, but most spam emails are coming from within the United States. I thought that was super cool. China is obviously up there as well. The Czech Republic, I really don't know why that one was up there. That's super interesting to me. The Netherlands, France, Germany, like we have a lot of just like well-developed Western countries in there, which I found super interesting. And then we obviously have the ones that we associate with spam, like China, India, and Russia, and then Ukraine, Bulgaria, and then the British. They do their thing. But, so this was just like where the actual emails are coming from. Best guesses of where these people are located. A lot of this data is hard to come by, right? But then this one was interesting. I still don't entirely understand like the metrics behind this one, but this is a list of the countries that enable spam the most, as in the number of countries that have like open spam issues being investigated that just like have not been shut down. And apparently China is well ahead in just like the category of enabling spam. Their government is much more okay with it than ours, which is still way more okay with it than everyone else, which was apparently pretty interesting to me. So this is a fun map. Kind of wanted to see if anyone could guess what this map is showing here. Gibraltar, yeah, I don't know why that was on that list, but it was on the list that I found. So anyone want to take a guess of what this map could be showing?
This is the common
So this is the number, or the highest percentage of emails leaving the country that are spam. 95% of emails leaving Greece are spam. Do they send real emails? 95%. That is an insane number. Don't know what they're doing, man, but that's insane.
Well, I guess because Gibraltar probably has 2 people. And
That's a fair point.
yeah.
It's got 10 people, and 9 of them are spammers, so.
Also, another one that was kind of cool to look at is like, okay, where are the relay servers? Because most people aren't just sending these like from their home computers. They send them, out of the botnets, and they send those instructions through servers that are hopefully very far away from where they actually are, so it's hard to be traced back to them. Most of the relay servers that are used are in China. Apparently, Brazil makes an appearance on that list, so let's go, Joey. But the United States, Russia, and India are also, very high on that list. These are just the locations of the actual servers that spam emails are often being sent from. So I've always been trying to figure out, who are the people sending me these emails? Because, I don't know. I actually was talking to my dad preparing for this presentation, and he told me that he just pictured, some dude in Eastern Europe, sitting in his parents' basement, just, sending out these emails one by one. Don't know, what do you got that impression from? But approximately 80% of the spam sent in the world comes from the same 100 spam gangs. These spam gangs are really large organizations that claim to be marketing agencies. That's how they always advertise themselves. So hey, come to us and we'll get people to buy your product, because they do, but that's not really what I'd call it. The US is home to 7 of the top 10 spam groups in the world, which I found super interesting. Again, even though whatever. But then the Canadian pharmacy is actually the biggest online scam, which I would imagine we would have guessed. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I talked to my roommates about this earlier. Apparently not everyone's getting those, Canadian pharmacy texts, but I get probably one a day. It's a lot.
What did you say?
Don't even. Well, it's probably going to get worse after this presentation. All the things I put in there. But I get a lot of, ads for the Canadian pharmacy, which is just operation based in Russia or Ukraine.
And it's not Canadian.
And it's not at all Canadian. No, yeah. No, Canadian pharmacy, it's just, for some reason, that sounds more legitimate to them. But now, most Canadian pharmacy websites online are completely a scam. The Canadian pharmacy actually registered over 3,000 domains, and those are just the ones we know about. So, most of them don't have to do with Canadians or pharmacies. So, they just own a bunch of random domains, and then they send out emails on behalf of the Canadian pharmacy. But I thought it was super interesting. So, kind of have some sources here. These are where most of the stuff came from. There are a few thesis papers that I found that was super interesting on this. A lot of really cool case studies, but I did want to just ask everyone, okay, think about the reliability of the data here. People aren't just going around saying hey, this is how many spam emails I sent this month. Here's how much money I made from it. People aren't really open with that much sort of information, so a lot of this is best guesses, approximations, extrapolations, and just what we're able to find out with the data that we have. Again, a lot of it it's the data for spam is sparse and hard to come by. So some of the sources are outdated. Some of them have timeline mismatches. So don't take any of the numbers in here too seriously. But the general trend does seem to be reliable, just with the sheer number and reliability of the sources that are supporting them. So if anyone's interested, I'm always happy to talk about cybersecurity. I'd love to talk about this presentation more. I do really enjoy looking into kind of the spam, the underworld industry. It's a lot of fun to me. So feel free to reach out to me, contact me at any time. And thank you.